Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
The ban on evictions put into place during the height of the pandemic expires. How to get help if you need it. Plus, experts are concerned as the Delta variant continues to spread across Michigan and the nation. But we begin right now with breaking news out of Superior Township, where 2 teenagers have died in a car accident. Another teen inside that vehicle was taken to the hospital, listed in critical condition. Here's what we know about the circumstances so far. Police believe there was an accident before the deadly crash involving 2 cars. The original car that was hit was trying to catch up. The vehicle they were trying to catch up to had the 3 teens inside. The teenagers' car lost control, rolled over, going northbound on Superior. Mara McDonald following the story, and we'll be live at 5 on Local 4 News with an update. Also breaking, Detroit Police Chief James White addresses the viral video showing that controversial arrest in Greektown. The chaos unfolded Saturday night. Officers approached a man who appeared to be talking to them. That's when one of the officers punched the man in the face, knocking him to the ground. A brawl started with another man shortly after. Moments ago, Chief White shared his thoughts on the incident.
I have some serious concerns as to how that was handled. We've come to expect our officers to de-escalate situations. I did not see de-escalation there. I did not see our training there.
It's unclear what led to these altercations. Chief White says the officers involved will be held accountable. Internal Affairs is investigating. Also breaking, Governor Whitmer declares a state of emergency for the cities of Farmington, Farmington Hills, and Southfield. The declaration is in response to the city's request for state assistance to address the damage caused by those severe storms in early July. Justin, we have learned that Republican Senator Lindsey Graham has tested positive for the coronavirus. Meantime, here at home, medical experts at Beaumont Health held a briefing to talk about what they're experiencing at their hospitals with regard to the coronavirus. Let's get right out to Paula Tutman for a closer look. Paula.
Yeah, hi, Karen. This physician who spoke to us this morning really sounded an alarm that the clock is ticking. It's running down. I guess you could say we're at the 11th hour or maybe even later to try to contain this virus so it doesn't affect everybody, including those who are vaccinated. Possible disaster on the horizon. Those are the words of a Beaumont doctor who says he sees a deeply concerning uptick in COVID hospitalizations.
I think the potential exists for a huge disaster, and what do you want to call it? Surge 4, Surge 5? I mean, I've sort of lost count, but if you had a large group of individuals who have not had COVID or did not know if they had COVID and they are susceptible, and you put them in a situation that allows the Delta variant to be transmissible, you could have another explosion of cases.
Dr. Joel Fishbane is the medical director for infectious prevention at Beaumont Grosse Pointe. He says currently in the Beaumont group, there are 64 patients hospitalized with COVID. 61 of them are uninoculated, which means they have not gotten any vaccinations against the virus. Another 3 have gotten the vaccine and the virus broke through.
Only 0.06% of our COVID cases are considered vaccine failures. So vaccination is still very, very good.
He talks about the Delta variant, and what he's seeing in terms of new cases is as concerning, if not more concerning, than what we experienced last year. When you factor in vaccine resistance, COVID fatigue, and the politicalization of mask wearing, and children heading back into the classroom.
I think the potential exists for tremendous spread and increased cases, especially if you look at under 12-year-olds who are not eligible for the vaccine. Kids, it's very difficult probably to keep their masks on. We can do everything we want, but as with many other viruses, the kids can bring it home. And then obviously, if you've got family members not vaccinated or family members who are vaccine failures, but you just don't know that, there could be a marked increase in cases. And don't forget the high risk categories of obesity, diabetes, age, et cetera. So the potential exists. And that's the concern.
This Delta variant behaves differently than the original virus. So the virus has replicated itself in order to survive. And what it's replicated into is something that's more transmissible. It hides in our nasal passages, even in vaccinated people who do not get sick. There's scientific data that indicates vaccinated people can also unwittingly spread this virus to unvaccinated people. And because there are so many people not vaccinated and unwilling to get vaccinated, they are giving this Delta variant an opportunity to replicate itself into something no current vaccine can.
Vaccination. That's why we have to vaccinate everybody as quickly as we can, try to prevent any transmission. And I think individuals should probably consider going back to universal masking when they're going to stores or when they're gathering in large groups indoors.
I asked Dr. Fishbane if there is any medical condition that precludes anyone from safely getting the vaccine. Fertility fears, pregnancy, pre-existing conditions. He said other than an allergic reaction to anything used in making the actual vaccine, because remember, the vaccine is not live virus, but anything other than a specific allergic reaction to anything inside the vaccine, there is no medical reason not to get it. Okay, so let's just unpack that a little bit more. Basically, we're not talking about just unvaccinated people potentially infecting unvaccinated people. We're talking about vaccinated people possibly infecting unvaccinated people as well. And again, he says there is no medical reason, or very, very few medical reasons, you should not be able to take this vaccine. And he wants people to get it before time runs out to stop this thing. Karen.
All right. We appreciate it. Thank you, Paula. A coronavirus variant discovered in Colombia now showing up among patients in South Florida, increasing infections and putting health officials on alert. It is called B1621. It hasn't gotten a Greek letter designation yet. Now, last week, the CEO of a Miami health system said the new variant has accounted for about 10% of the coronavirus patients, trailing behind Delta. Florida reported more than 21,000 new infections Saturday, the highest one-day total since the pandemic began. Hospitalizations breaking last year's record, and with schools opening next week, the governor there says he is defying CDC guidance and banning all districts from requiring masks. As the Delta variant rages, health officials are sounding the alarm as infections are rising in every state.
Things are going to get worse.
This is a Class 5 hurricane.
Meantime, Kroger strongly encouraging everyone to wear a mask in their stores regardless of their vaccination status. San Francisco and other Bay Area counties also just reinstated mask mandates for indoor settings. Well, some good news today as the United States reaches a vaccination milestone. The White House COVID-19 data director announced via Twitter that 70% of adults in the U.S. have had at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. He also said 320,000 people are newly vaccinated. The 7-day average of newly vaccinated is the highest it's been since July 4th, which is also when the Biden administration had previously wanted to meet that 70% threshold. It's the start of the month and rent is due. Federal eviction protections have expired, and now millions of Americans potentially face homelessness. Isabel Rosales breaks down the push on Capitol Hill to provide relief and also the group of tenants who are disproportionately impacted.
The United States may be barreling toward its next crisis, housing.
Where am I going to live in the next 2 months?
The CDC's federal eviction moratorium, designed to help stop the spread of COVID-19, has expired. An estimated 11 million Americans are late on rent. Already struggling to pay the bills, they may soon be out of a home. Black and Latino tenants are disproportionately impacted.
How are you going to pay your electricity, cell phone, food? It's hard.
The Supreme Court had allowed the moratorium stay in place until July 31st, but Congress would need to act. Democrats scrambled to pass an extension before the August recess.
When it comes, though, to the technicalities of legislation, we just needed more time.
Their bill failed after Republicans rejected it.
Democrats had the opportunity to change that. They didn't. This level of incompetence that we didn't take action in February, March, April, May, June, even July.
A lawmaker who said she herself had been evicted 3 times and forced to live in her car, sleeping on the Capitol steps in protest.
I'm dirty, I'm sticky, I'm sweaty. This is how people will have to live if we don't do something.
Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez blasting her own party for ignoring the looming deadline.
We cannot, in good faith, blame the Republican Party when House Democrats have a majority.
Some Democrats are now shifting their focus on getting existing federal money into the hands of those who need it most. In Washington, Isabel Rosales.
Well, if you are facing eviction and need some help, you may not know that Michigan still has $500 million in unspent rental assistance grants. Tenants and landlords can apply for the aid. If 65% of the funding is not obligated by the end of September, state officials warn it could just vanish. So if you would like to apply, we posted all the information you need to know on clickondetroit.com. The Detroit August primary election is tomorrow. Voters will narrow down the candidates running for mayor, city clerk, and 5 city council seats. Detroit voters also will weigh in on Proposal P. Proposal P is a proposed Detroit charter. In other words, if passed, it would revise the city's current governing laws. Supporters of Proposal P say it will modernize and improve the city's governing document. Those who oppose it say it will cost Detroit $2 billion over 4 years and make it impossible for the city to submit a balanced budget, which could force the city back into bankruptcy. The Detroit City Clerk held a news conference discussing what they're expecting for the upcoming election.
We will count close to twice as many absentee ballots as we did in 2017. It is expected that we will count approximately 50,000 absentee ballots, and anywhere from between 15 to 35,000 electors will cast their ballots at the precinct.
All right, so tomorrow you can find all the results on the Detroit primary election right here on clickondetroit.com. Well, today, Wayne County officials held a public hearing about the expanding of the Riverview landfill. The proposed expansion would provide up to 15 years of additional disposal capacity. Roughly 212 acres of the landfill is used for solid waste disposal. Protesters downriver rallied against that proposal on Sunday, voicing health and environmental concerns. Leaders addressed those concerns in today's hearing.
In regard to actual health concerns, there have been no conclusive studies done to link landfills to health impacts. Most of the complaints are more of a nuisance complaint, so you would get the odors and the debris.
City leaders say if the expansion is not approved, the landfill would have to shut down in a few years and would dramatically raise property taxes. Jamie Edmonds shares more on the proposal when you join us tonight at 5. Okay, we got a quick traffic heads up. Northbound I-75 remains closed from I-696 to 12 Mile Road for emergency repairs. Looks like it will be shut down until at least Wednesday as crews repair damage caused by a sinkhole. Let's turn our attention to weather. What are we expecting, Ben?
Hey, Karen, good to see you again. We're going to see some very comfortable temperatures here as August sort of starts out in disguise. We're seeing these below normal numbers that are going to get us at least to the middle of the week. Current temperatures are in the 70s outside, and it is all with low humidity. 76 right now at Metro Airport. In fact, really, there's not a whole lot of difference between the north, southwest, and metro zones as we speak. Dew point temperatures in the low 50s. Very dry air, especially for this time of year. And as we take a look at the visible satellite, the only thing we've been seeing in the sky have been those afternoon cumulus clouds just kind of dotting the skyline. Definitely not threatening. We're not expecting at least even a chance of seeing rain in here until Thursday of this week, and even that's pretty slim shot. You can see much of the country here in the eastern half of the U.S. is rain-free. We've got generally cloud-free conditions across most of the Great Lakes and Midwest as well. High pressure continuing to make that sinking air a overwhelming feature of our forecast here going forward. So we'll stay dry through Wednesday, and then on Thursday, the system rides up the East Coast. You can see the back edge of this is just maybe going to get into southern portions of the state, but it's pretty slim shot. I think most of us are going to stay dry Thursday. Chances do go up a little bit on Friday as we get a wave closer to us. with at least isolated thunderstorms possible there. And pretty much the weekend looks the same, where we'll have chances of showers and storms around, but a lot of us are going to get through both days with no activity whatsoever. Lows tonight headed down into the 50s in most spots. I think the only places that'll see 60 are right there inside the city. Maybe some downriver spots as well. South zone mid 50s generally here, 57 in Belleville, 54 in Adrian. West zone low temperatures getting close to the 40s, but I think we'll stay away from that there in Ann Arbor and Flint, 51 in both locations. And the north zone, especially interior areas, will be on the crisp side, just slightly milder there towards M59 and the Lakeshore by tomorrow morning. High temperatures still not getting to 80 degrees tomorrow. Just another nice one, though, as the humidity stays low. We really start to see that humidity inch up on Thursday and Friday. So that's when the temperatures go back above average into the mid 80s and will pretty much stay there through the upcoming weekend. So chances of at least an isolated thunderstorm, more of what we would typically expect this time of year instead of those widespread, very torrential downpours. And Karen, Monday, 91 degrees. And with that humidity, it's going to feel like the mid 90s. So if you're missing the summer heat, it's on the forecast.
It's going to come back. All right. Good to see you, Ben. Thanks so much. Well, Simone Biles is back. The 2016 Olympic gymnastics champion will compete in the individual balance beam. That happens tomorrow. Biles had been expected to improve on her Rio Games gold haul after qualifying for all 5 individual finals in Tokyo. But as we all know, she pulled out of the all-around competition in 3 event finals to focus on her mental health. The 24-year-old says she was experiencing twisties, which makes gymnasts feel like they get lost in the air. Biles will compete alongside Suni Lee in the balance beam final. This is her last scheduled final at the Olympics. As for Olympic medals, Team USA taking the lead with 64 total medals, including 22 gold, 25 silver, and 17 bronze. China follows with 62 medals, 29 are gold. Team Russia is in 3rd place with 50 total medals. Great Britain follows with 35, 11 are gold. And Japan is in 5th place right now with 33 medals. Here's a look at our on-air lineup tonight at 7. It's Jeopardy, followed by our Olympic Zone special and primetime Olympic coverage. Then Local 4 News will air at 11:30. Thanks, everybody, for joining us for this online version of First at 4. We'll see you on air at 5 on Local 4. Have a great rest of your day.